yesterday, I will take maybe first 30 to 45 minutes to just wrap up of Lego case. And but first half part of Lego case we will discuss today. And then later on, Taro-san will take in charge of your group work.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yes, I will.
Okay. Can you allow us to share the slide? Or you can put us as a co-host so that I can share the slide.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Show PowerPoint ขึ้นเลยนะแชร์นำตัวนี้มันบอกอาจารย์นี่ปุ่มshare screen โอเคมันติดโปร
อาจารย์อันเลือกตัวบอลอันอยู่บนแชร์สกรีนอีกอาจารย์แล้วให้เลือกตัวที่ว่าแชร์ได้หลายโดย
Can you now?
Yes, now I can.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So now everyone can see my slide.
Yes.
Okay. So yesterday, we just discussed about Lego case, but don't worry, this is our first trial to use case. And of course, you are very busy to spend time to read the case. Right? So we can do all together for the first half part of Lego case. So the Lego case, I wanted you to use 5 forces model for us to analyze external environment, right? And that, as I explained, in order for you to answer second question, right, we need to analyze our internal business conditions, right? So for internal use, right, we are going to use usually value chain analysis, right? If we use 5 forces model, right, for the external analysis, then we can use value chain analysis for us to assess our activities for internal activities. Okay, so first, what we want to do is to identify some key factors that cause their business problems, and also we want to know reasons of slowing down the growth of Lego, right? And I think yesterday each group discussed for 30 minutes about the reason to think about the reason why Lego faces a difficulty, right? And a lot of you discussed, many things. Okay, so yesterday's last part I explained, in order for us to understand external environment, right? Why not we try to use 5 forces model, right? So that we can try to identify issues along with 5 factors, right? But 5 forces model, right, is very good tool for us to analyze external environment. However, we also need to understand our internal business efficiency and effectiveness. In order for us to do so, we need to analyze our internal factors, right? So for that purpose, right, value chain analysis could help you, right? And once we understand external environment condition as well as internal issues, right, we can then formulate the proper strategy. Okay, in this case, how we are going to turn around the current situation of Lego, which are now facing a crisis, to move toward for the future growing business model. Okay, so this was the 5 forces analysis template, right? So maybe after the class, Taro-san will share you this kind of slide with you. So when you have a time, or when in the future you feel, start interesting to analyze Lego case once again, and you can try to, use this kind of template. Okay. So these are 5 factors. I'm not going to repeat, right? But this red part, right? New entrance and substitute, right? This is what we call threat, right? And the buyers and suppliers factors, we are considering about their bargaining power, right? In order for us to understand our current competitive conditions in our industry, which is in this case, toy industry, right? So this is what we have done yesterday, right? So in order for us to understand our strategic situation, a very basic model was so-called 3C model, right? This left-hand side, right? We understand ourselves. We try to understand the customer in relation to competitors, right? So those 3 C's, right? But for 5 forces model, right, we go a little bit more in depth by dividing external 5 factors. Okay, this is a right-hand side model. Okay, so let us to catch up, right? Wrap up one by one. And first, right, we tried to understand existing competitor situation. Right, this is a this circle part. Okay, so as we discussed yesterday, market of toy industry was growing, but Lego was slowing down. Right, it was a situation in the case, and there are only 2 large competitors, right, which was Mattel and Hasbro. Right, they are 2 big players, and Lego's revenue is 1.1 billion US dollars, right, which was shown in the case. So there are so many, small and medium-sized competitors are competing in the toy market, because even Hasbro and Mattel combining together only 30% of sharing of total revenue in toy industry, meaning that another 87% are divided by hundreds of players, meaning that so many players were in toy market, right? And this one I'm not going to explain. Right? So also, this current market situation has changed in 4 fundamental ways. Right? This is what you kindly gave me some comments. Right? So now video game was coming, right? And also the powers of retailers and the new retail channel, meaning before when we produce toy, right? This one, Toys R Us. I'm not sure if you have ever seen, right? This kind of toy shop was a place where they sell a toy. However, recently we have a lot of very large, powerful retailers like Walmart, Metro, Carrefour, right? Or Tesco, right? I think you're more familiar with Tesco, right? That kind of big companies, retailers, also started selling the toys, right? So meaning that as a toy maker, not only toy shop, but also for other retailers, we need to build a good relationship with them, right? This is also a big change for them. And also, do you know which country's flag is that? Is this Lao flag? No, right?
China.
Yes, it's China. So now, China produce a lot of goods, not only in toy industry, but also other industries, right? They can produce things with very cheap price, right? And sometimes even it is not that much high quality, but they can keep on producing those products and to sell to the external market, especially in emerging Asia. And some people still don't know about the brand of Lego. In that case, they can imitate some of them, right, with very cheap price to get into the market. Right? This is also very big changes for Lego. And this kind of mega blocks, right? This is another types of toy also changing the game. Okay, so to put it very simple, right? They faces very tight competitions in toy industries, right? Meaning that all 5 factors we think, give us very high pressures on competition. So as a new CEO or executives, we need to decide which factors are we going to manage, right, more carefully, or which factors we are going to prioritize to be managed. Okay, so this prioritize issues are very important for us to formulate a strategy. Okay, so for the new entry, right, potential entrance to the market, right, we ask the question, would it be difficult for others to enter the market, right? Initially it was yes, but now, Chinese companies and other players are getting stronger and stronger. So like Asian contractor imitate with very cheap price with similar product, and they can sell it online and no barriers of intellectual property right? Because if they sell copy product in Japan or in Western countries, like Europe and USA, right, they will be captured by the police, right? They have to go to jail. But for some countries, right, emerging countries, this intellectual property right is not well protected. In that case, for them, they don't need to copy exact same way as Lego, right? But even low quality with cheap price and imitate the goods and the packaging, they can sell. And if they sell it online, people don't know which one is true or not, especially for emerging market. Okay, so this is an example. Do you know which company is this? Do you have this in Laos?
No, we don't have.
You don't have? No, it looks like McDonald's, right? But not McDonald's. But they are selling the hamburger, right? But this kind of things, if we do in Japan, right? It cannot be. It is prohibited. Or in the States, it's also very strictly prohibited. But for some emerging countries, still it is allowed, right? And I'm not saying which one is right or wrong, right? Because saying right or wrong doesn't give us any solutions, right? If one country allow this kind of situation, right, we are the one who need to cope with. We are the one who need to adapt, right? Blaming their government will not help us, right? Because we are asking to do business in their country. So no matter we like or not, if we go there, we have to follow their regulation. And if intellectual property is not well protected, right, these things easily happen. And do you know this? McDonald's has a character, right? It looks cute or ugly, I'm not sure. Right? But even this kind of thing, a bit scary. A little bit scary. How about this one? This one looks okay, right? No? Do you know this character?
Yes.
In Disneyland, you can find this kind of duck, right? This is Donald Duck, right? But actually, this is slightly different, like this. It's similar, but the face is a little bit different, right? But this is actually, you can see in China, right? They have a theme park and they have this kind of character, right? Like this, Mickey and Donald, right? And the Mickey Mouse is mouse, right? Actually, but they said this one is not the Mickey Mouse, but this is a Mickey cat. So this is a cat, right? This is what they said. And if we fight each other, it doesn't solve any problem, right? If fighting each other, it just cause, just continuous fighting. So it doesn't help us, right? It's not productive. So meaning that if this is a case, this is a situation, right? We not their responsibility. This is our responsibility for us to do business, right? So we might need to change the mindset. And do you know this one? Very popular among Japanese kids, and also very popular in Chinese kids, among Chinese kids. And a lot of Thai kids, right? When I go back to Bangkok, right, my assistant, right, I have a lot of assistants and secretaries, right? They often ask me, "Oh, please buy some goods for my kids with Anpanman character." This is Anpanman, right? And this is a little bit scary Anpanman over there, right? But for kids, right, they don't mind that much, right? For them, very small kids, for them, they can be pleased with these things. And do you know this one? Have you ever seen this character?
Pokemon.
Yes.
Pokemon, right?
Pokemon, right? Pikachu. Actually, I'm an advisor of this company as well. And every month I see with owner of this company, Takara Tomy, right? But we have a difficulty to have this kind of imitation. Right? It's a little bit, not that much cute, but a little bit different, right? So Pikachu got angry with this kind of, imitations. And do you know this one? Hello Kitty, but actually it's not the kitty cat, and this is Doraemon. Taro-san is a very big fan of cartoon, right? Actually, if you visit his office, you can see full of cartoon in his office. Right? So that kind of things, right? We have to cope with, right? That kind of imitations, right? So potential entrance to the market, right? It was also a problem. And how about the negotiation power of suppliers? Right? This is, right, as yesterday you kindly mentioned, right? They have a very strong power to us because they can sell to anyone, right? If we don't follow, right, we don't satisfy their minimum requirement for the profitability for them, then they can switch, right, to other companies like Hasbro, Mattel, or 1,000 of other competitors, right? So supplier of licensed character has a very strong bargaining power to us, and they would set its fee in a way that extract most of their profit. So meaning that, if
Recording in progress.
If we put, right, the kind of brand of Star Wars, Harry Potter, or Cinderella, right, then a lot of kids start buying. However, we have to pay a lot of royalty to them, supplier. So our profit, right, will be very slim. Right? This is what is happening. And even, right, we can sell a lot, right? Profitability is low. On the top of that, right, we need to create a lot of different parts in order for us to produce block, right? Because usually Lego block, they have very standard shape of the block. And kids can creatively build a lot of things by using those kind of very general format of the blocks. However, once they introduce Star Wars or Disney or Harry Potter, right, there are some kind of very specific piece to become like Star Wars character or Harry Potter's house or some Cinderella's face, meaning that for production part, right? The complication becomes more increased, right? Complexity. So they had to make a lot of different parts at the same time. Okay, so it caused the problems of their operation. If you read the case, right? So if you check their volume of inventory, right, it's increased quite a lot, right? And also if you see the profitability, especially gross margin is if we on the top bar is revenue, right? Revenue minus cost of goods sold. Then we have a first line of profit called gross margin. Have you studied this with accounting class? Right? So if you see the revenue increase, right, meaning that if you only see the revenues, right, it looks as if they are growing. Right? Do you agree? If you see on the case, right, exhibit 1, right, if you open that page, right, if you see the revenue are increasing, however, if you see gross profit margin, it decreasing, right, meaning that they are growing in terms of sales revenue, however, profitability was decreasing, okay, because of they increased the product of the kind of suppliers, licenses on the base of suppliers licenses, right? And also the problem of this kind of product is when Star Wars movie is released, right? Then revenue is increased, right? And when Harry Potter's movies is on the screen, the revenue increase. However, right, they have only once a 3 years or 5 years, right, for them to make a film, right? So when film was finished, then those kind of products, right, or do you know die and mold? When we make this kind of block, right, we have to make some sort of specific shape, right, to put like this, stamp like this, and then we have some particular piece, right? So that kind of things, right? Once one movie to other movie, if it is shifted, then that die and mold cannot be used to produce continuously for the next model. So they have to always change, right, that kind of production parts, right? So that increase cost. Not only cost, it's also increase complexity of doing business, right? So this was the reason why their inventory management, right, doesn't seem to work quite well, right? And it caused some of out of stock, right, problems, and which also caused dissatisfaction of retailers, right? Is that too fast or okay? The speed, okay. And the substitute product or services, right? We have also discussed yesterday, right? The first one is changing lifestyle, right? The kids are shifting from traditional toys to video game and online activities. And in addition, recently, my children has to do a lot more than our period, meaning that they have to play piano, they have to play violin, they have to learn so many other things nowadays, right? Now, number of kids is decreasing, and a lot of people pay attention, the parents' attention a lot for the kids' education. So for them, they have less leisure time, meaning that less time to play with traditional toys like Lego, right? So this kind of things are also their threat, right? So the threat of substitute is also very high, right? And also threat of substitute, right? Or buyer's negotiation power, right? So now retailers are getting very influential, right? And if you see the internet substitute are also on rise. So they can also think, right, to how they are going to manage their channel. If retailers are getting very strong, they cannot rely too much on retailers. This is one option to reduce their dependency on retailers. This is one way, right? They switch to other channel, or they're gonna build more strong relationship with retailers, right? For you, if I ask you, for you, which ways for Lego could be better? How many of you think now retailers are getting too strong, so we might need to develop our own channel or work with other retailers, such as traditional toy retailers, or we are going to build more strong relationship with Walmart because Walmart is too powerful. So rather than competing with them, right, we might need to please them. Which way do you think is a good for Lego? Continuously working with traditional toy retailers, or they build their own channel if you are a maker, right? Or you are going to develop more good relationship with Walmart rather than other retail channels. Or we develop like online direct channel so that we can directly connect with customers. Which way do you think is a good, is the best? I think this kind of issues, right, a lot of companies might face. Right? Now people purchasing are shifting to online. Other players easily to get into the market to sell the product. In that case, we might need to think with which channel are we going to build a good relationship, or how much we rely on those channels. Whether or not we are going to open our own channel by setting up our own retail shop, or building our new online, our shops. Right? That kind of things we need to think. Right? And for you, right, which way might be good? There is no right or wrong answer, but from my perspective, right, if I look at this, right, situation, I think this way is better, right? Like that way of answering would be great. Does anyone have any opinion?
Professor, for me,
yes, thank you.
I think benefits should be another way to create. So the first way I do, if I would, trying to make a strong relationship with all Walmart first, and
Walmart first, okay.
Yes, and start to develop our own shop. When in the future, if to be risks or something that never work out with the retailer, so we at least we have our own, and because we also sell in too many channels as well.
Which is very good. I think in the future we might want to develop our own channel. However, now we are still don't have that much capability, and a lot of revenue has to rely on those very strong players. So first we have to improve the relationship with them, and while we are doing well, at the same time we develop our own channel. Okay, this is very good way. Any other opinion? Right now his way of answering is very good because the issues is this, but he explained with time frame. Right? So strategy, right, need to have the time frame. Okay, so now we do this, prioritize the issues in relation to our resource, right? But long term, right, what we want to achieve, right, in order for us to adapt new environment. Okay. So this is a key for strategy, right? We have timeline and we have several steps, right? And clear aims and objectives. Any other opinion? No? Okay, then we go, right, to continue, okay? And also, there are price-based rival is increasingly the norm, right? Meaning that, Lego still continue to produce in high cost in Denmark because they produce product at Denmark, right? In Denmark, right? While competitors are taking advantage of much cheaper way of production in Asian manufacturing, mainly in China. They produce, the toys in China, right? You see, nowadays a lot of product is made in China or made in Vietnam, right? So that cost is cheaper for other products, but for Lego block, right? They continue to produce their product in Denmark, and so meaning that they have less competitive advantage on the price. Right, so that one was the suppliers and input resources, and also fleet of buyers, meaning customers, right? And yesterday we discussed who are the customer or buyer for Lego. Do you remember? Right, and some of you kindly mentioned that this is kids, right? And some of you said, oh, no, there are some parents are important. And also, right, we agree that retailers are also important, right? And then, right, we need to think, right, how much does each buy from us, right? We have different customers, kids, parents, and retailers, or traditional toy retailers, like Toys R Us, right? And is any customer or customer group particularly important for us or to us? Right? This is what we discussed and what we need to discuss, right? And it's depending on the situation, right? But if we think, right, the kids are most important, then we have to formulate our strategy to focus on kids, right? If we think the parents are more important, then we have to align all strategy and activities, right, in order for us to make clear alignment with our objectives. But if we think retailers are important, like Katya-san said, right, then we have to focus much more resources to make retailers happy, right? So it depends, right, whether or not our strategic activities are efficient or right or wrong, are depending on what we are going to do, depending on our perspective, okay? So this is the reason, if we look at the reality from this side, okay, we are going to approach like that way, okay? If we think retailers are important, we have to approach to make retailers happy, okay, like this way. So parents are customers, right? Children's customers, right? Or retailers customers. This is what we have discussed, right? And if retailers are customers and retailers are important, we want to know if retailers are happy with us or not, right? And if you have a chance to read the case yesterday or today, how do you think about this point? Are retailers happy with Lego? And if so, which part they are happy? If they are not happy, why? The reason why retailers are not happy. Does anyone can give me any comment? Basing on the case, okay? Basing within the case. Does anyone can give us a comment? Or you forget to It's not that easy to keep on remember. Yes, Kyang Tari-san. Yes, thank you.
I want.
Oh, yes, Pip-Hon-san. Yes, thank you.
I would like to share for the
Yes, thank you.
retailer customer. My opinion, I think that the retailer must be carefully to order from the Lego because the cost is so high. It is increasing price from them, so it make a problem for them to sell for the other customer. So I think that maybe they will choose the cheaper one. Yeah, and easy to sell. Yes, that best way for the retailer.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think Lego's product are too high price for them. So
yes,
that
but,
it's
they
not that
also
easy.
not focus for the quality much.
They focus too much on the quality and the details, so it increases their cost. So meaning that for buyers, the price is too high. So if price is too high for buyers, then their profitability is smaller than other product. So Pip-Hon-san's suggestion is why not Lego produce a little bit cheaper product, right?
Yes.
For retailers to sell more easily. Okay, yes, this is one approach. Very good. Any other opinion?
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other opinion? Or comment? Because actually Taro-san is counting how many of you give us a comment, so that if you give us actively involved into discussion, you will get more higher grade. This is how business school grade the students. Okay. Any other opinion?
Teacher, I want just
yes, thank you.
Share my personal opinion. Like retail, like Walmart,
yes.
Not just sell about the Lego.
Yes.
They sell about all our products.
Yes, not only toys.
Maybe some kid wants to Lego, so parents to come, but they are not just buy about Lego, can buy other things, so they can make profit.
It's a very good point. Very good point. Thank you very much. Because Lego is toy maker, right? So if they sell their product to toy shop, right? Other competitors are toy makers like Hasbro and Mattel. This is what you gave me, right? Who are the competitors, right? Most of you said Hasbro, Mattel, or other toy makers, right? But if we change, as Katia-san suggested, to sell or to build a more good relationship with large retailer like Makro and Carrefour, right, or Walmart, then for Walmart people, right, they sell a lot of products, as Don-san said, right, not only toy. So meaning that if they don't sell the toy, right, they can of course sell another toy, or even they have a choice not to sell a toy, but they can put some other more profitable product on their floors, right? If you visit Tesco, for example, right, across the river, sometimes you go to shopping over there, right, in Thailand, right? Then they have a lot of goods, right? But they have a limited space. Of course, they are very big shop, but limited space. So if they don't sell the toy, they can just put other product. Meaning that for Lego, actual competitors are not only toy shop, toy makers. Don't you think so? Do you know what I'm saying? Right? Before, if we identify our customers is kids or parents, right? Our competitors are, of course, other toy makers, Hasbro, Nintendo, or some other Sony, or some other product, right, of toy. However, if our customers are retailers like Walmart, right, then our competitors can be much more wider, not only toy makers, right? And if you read carefully the case, is there any hint on that? Did you have a chance to read the case? They have very particular name of the product. Not only toy. For example, they said dog food. You know dog food? The food for dog, right? They said even they can sell the dog food, right? Dog food has more profitability, right? Meaning that the Lego's competitors are not only toys, even dog food producer or dog food itself, right, can be their competitor or can be their substitute, right? Their substitute is not only toy. Their substitute could be dog food. Okay, so like this way, right? When we use 5 forces model in the context of the real business, right? It's not something like you did with other professor, right? They just put 5 forces and you write it down and that's done. This is on the classroom, right? It could be done, but in actual business, the case is not like this, right? First, we identify 5 forces model like that way. Hasbro, right, and other toy makers are very big competitors. But after that, we have to carefully think who is the most important customers. And if we decide retailers are the most important customers, then we have to redo again to reformulate 5 forces model again, right? Meaning that by so doing, a substitute itself could be changed very much different ways from previous assumptions, right? Because dog food or other, food or clothes, even clothes, right, can be our competitors, right? So next questions is, what are retailers expected from us? And Tippa Ebon-san, right, kindly mentioned, right? They need more profit and they want to sell more product, right? Because this is how they make money at the Tesco or Walmart, right? So if you see, right, a moment, I'm gonna skip some, right? But the important part is the last one. In choosing among toys to stock their shelf, to put their product into their shop floor, retailers focusing on profit per square foot and consequently considered margin term and product space requirements. Do you know what I mean? Because you have very limited space, right? On the physical store, even large, shops. So for them, they have to maximize their profitability by utilizing those space, right? If you are a retail shop or even 7-Eleven, right? They have limited spaces. So what kind of product we are going to sell in the shop, right? Of course, right? We need to carefully think how much we can get by selling. How big the product. If product occupies very big space, but profitability is small, then there is no point for retailers to place those products in our shop, right? So for them, right, when they choose, right, when they buy product from makers, they always carefully see how much we can get by selling this per square meters or square feet. Okay, this per square feet. Do you know square feet, right? So for us, right, if we want to sell our product to Walmart, right, we need to make sure we can manage for them to get kind of satisfied profit per square feet or square foot, right? If they set up like 10% is minimum, then, right, we have to produce, right, 10% profit per square foot product for them. Don't you think so? Right? So if you see this, right, then how they calculate, right? That kind of per square feet profitability. This is very important. We will do in the next slide. But first one is very high purchasing power, like Toys R Us and Walmart, right? What are the substitutes for them, for retailers, right? So as I explained, for Toys R Us, this is toy shop, right? Other toys can be, substitute for them, right? Because they are also selling toys for the kids, right? So if Lego product is not enough, they can just buy from other makers, right? But for Walmart, right? Any better substitute, as Don-san mentioned, right? At Walmart, they can just, as far as more profitable goods available apart from toys, right? They can just purchase it, right? There are two different, right? And point is, were retailers happy with Lego product, right? It was no, right? They said their major customers were frustrated by stock outs, and very slow moving inventory means like egg or milk, that kind of things, their inventory turnover is very high, right? Every day they can sell turnover, but like toy could be very slow to turn over, right? If they put toy, right? Not something like every 10 minutes they can sell, but egg, right? Or food, like dog food can sell much more faster, right? So if you look at this, typical retailer means like, for example, Walmart, right? Developed 9 linear feet to Lego products in 2009 by putting Lego product, right? 19% gross margin, meaning that by selling Lego product, they get 19%. Okay, and Lego inventory turnover is if they put this product, right, in 1 year, how many times they can replace the inventories. Okay, so this kind of things you're gonna study in the business school, in the accounting and finance, right? So like, very fast move the goods, right? Inventory turnover is like 10 or 12 even, right? But toy is not that much as, fast moving. Like if you see Louis Vuitton's bag, right? Comparing with Uniqlo, do you know Uniqlo? The clothes, cheap clothes, right? In terms of turnover, Uniqlo is much higher, right? Louis Vuitton is slower, right? But for the retailers, by selling one Vuitton bag, has much more profitability than Uniqlo, right? Uniqlo's case, each profitability is, by selling one cloth is small, but they can sell more, okay? So when we think about profitability, this is a function of turnover ratio, multiple profitability, right? So if profitability is 5%, right? But if turnover is 100 times, then 500, right? But if profitability is 20%, right? But turnover ratio, right, is like 10, then, right, the profitability 200, right? So which one is better, right? We can think. So just not only just focusing on profitability, right, does not satisfy the actual profitability, right? We have to also think turnover ratio, right? So chain-wide, if you see Walmart, Target, and Toys R Us, right? If you see, now I show some, but if you see in the case, right, how much is the average on Walmart, Target, and the Toys R Us? There is some description, right, in the case. Does anyone can help? Do you still remember? Or too tired to read English? But anyway, if you need to manage company, right, you have to read much more numbers, and you have to read read a lot of report from many different divisions, right? So if you cannot cope with those information within limited time, it's very difficult for you to manage company. Right? So I think this is very good exercise, right? And no one wanna do it, but if you don't try, you will never being able to manage the company. If small one, you can manage, but if it becomes certain size, right? And also nowadays, right, you have to compete with the executives from another countries across the world because the economy is globalized, right? So other business school executives, right, they are doing this kind of things every day, and to put into practice, right? So I think eventually we might need to develop that kind of skills, right? No one will help once you become the executives. When you are still not, junior, your boss, right, took all responsibility for you. But if you become promoted, right, you are the one who need to take responsibility, right? Like this Yoan case, right? Lego new president. He is just 35 years old, right? And he had to take 1.1 billion US dollars companies, right, in sudden on one day. Okay, so same things. When I was asked to manage MBA program of Sashin, when I was Chicago, right? The dean of Chicago and Professor Philip Kotler, if you know, the marketing professor, right? He asked me, okay, why not you just manage, right? MBA program in Thailand, right? And at that time, I was 29 years old. And when I was 30, I was appointed as a director of MBA program around that time. So, but that time I wasn't ready, right? But I think since I was trained at the business school for long, so it helped me. I haven't had any experience, but I learned from others' experience, so that it helped me a lot. So that kind of opportunities will come in sudden, right? So you have to be always, be ready for those opportunities, right? So the good luck comes on the prepared mind, right? This is a very famous quote. So if you prepared well, the good luck will come. So without preparation, you will not get any good luck. So good luck is not coming from there. Because of you are prepared well, the good luck is coming. This is what I think. Okay. So have you found any numbers in the case? Does anyone?
Professor, I would like to share a little bit. Yeah, maybe
yes,
seems to be a question. So I think in order for the society or retailers to happy with any products of any companies, they may stick to this focus only to the stock market, and also the share we have, and also there's this, the social value is very important, and also with our reputations. Otherwise, they will go away, because if they think our reputation may be down, and no customer, no one care about products, so they're gonna stop to sell or stop to buy from us. But in Laos, for example, I saw many gas stations here. It's a big compete. So many foreign like Thailand, they also come.
Potato.
Potato, right, to the Laos market, but
I'm also helping them.
Company already fair. So not really fair, but no one prefer that. So I'm not sure this case is similar or not. The social value, the stock markets, and the reputations. This is the case or not?
I think that kind of things are also important, right? Are important. But for this case, in the particular case of Lego, right, at this situation, at the crisis, what they need to focus is, I think it's across all business. If you are facing at crisis, right, or about to go bankrupt, right, then what we need to do what you need to do as a top executive is only 3 things. Okay. Cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. Right? So we have to focus all resources and we have to concentrate all resources for us to earn the cash flow when the situation is at the crisis. Okay. However, if the situation allows, of course, like Katia-san said, eventually that kind of, core value, the reason why we are doing business, this is what we call social value, right, has to be integrated in their business. Otherwise, it cannot be sustainable. And these kind of things also create the brand, and the brand affect a lot significantly on their, of course, stock price, share price, right? So, of course, in the long term, right, that kind of things are important, or one of the most important issues. So this is the reason why recently a lot of management professors are focusing on the importance of purpose, right? Why we are doing business, just only to create profit, right? If just creating profit, right, why we need to work for the company? Are we living for just making a profit? Right? Something like that. So that kind of question, we also need to, of course, think about. But going back to this, case, right? First, now we are at the crisis of go to bankrupt. Right? If we go to bankrupt, collapse, then we cannot even create any social value, right? We cannot even our own employees. So first thing is we have to secure, right, ourselves. So something like, our blood is just going out. So we have to stop the blood flowing out, right? We have to stop that things. And then after that, we have to make our body healthy. So priority, right, is on the cash flow at this case, at this stage in time when you take over the Lego in the time of this period, right? So we have to rely more on retailers nowadays because Walmart are getting stronger and stronger, right? So now we are talking how we are going to please them, make them happy, right? And they are looking for, profitability, and they have a lot of other choice for them to sell, right? So in terms of profitability, each shops has their average profitability, right? And that information is in your case. Have you found any description? Okay, does anyone can help? You can make mistake, right? If not making a mistake, you cannot grow up. It's same things, right? When you take a bicycle, right? Bicycle. I'm not sure if you can ride on the bicycle, right? If you don't try, you can never be able to drive a bicycle, right? So it's same thing. Management is same things because management is something what people do. So if you are just thinking and doing this, right? Of course, you cannot manage company, right? So you have to make a lot of fail. If you have, and the opposite term of failure is not success, right? Opposite term of failure is not trying anything. Okay. Okay, so maybe if I spend too much time, Taro-san will upset because he prepared something. Of course, Taro-san, tomorrow I give you more time, right? But I'm gonna spend a bit more time here. So chain-wide, Walmart, Target, and Toys R Us, right? Reported gross margin for Walmart 22.9%. This is their average gross margin, right? And Target, this is also another retail company, 33.6%. and Toys R Us, right, 32.4%. Right, this kind of information is in the case, right, in the time of 2004. But this only percentage, if you look at, Toys R Us get very high profit margin. So Toys R Us must be very good company, right? If you don't study management, people tend to say like this. And Walmart is only 22.9. So they have much lower margin, right? However, as I said, this is not true, right? Point is how many turnover, right, our products are per year. So if you look at their inventory turnover across all products, were for Walmart 7.5 times. Okay, Target is 6.0 times, and Toys R Us is 2.1 times, right? Meaning that their profitability or their power to earn money is you can just multiple this. So for Walmart, how much? If you have a mobile, you can calculate. How much? Does anyone can help? How much? I just want you to know the point, right? Because you tend to talk about profitability, right? No one mentioned about turnover, right? But if you educate it at the business school, right, this is not enough, right? You also need to think about turnover. Or if you have subordinate report to you, boss, right, now this is, we are doing very well because our profitability is 2.9, right, 22.9. But next thing you need to ask is, how about inventory turnover, right? And then you know the power of earnings. For Walmart, how much?
So 33.6.
Yes, Walmart is 22.9. No, multiple 7.5, or maybe my PowerPoint is wrong. I'm not sure. Okay, but my point is, you can just multiple this. Okay, so how about Toys R Us? 32.4 multiple 2.1. It's just 68. Do you agree? Right. So it looks like Toys R Us, right, has very high perform, right? But if we look at, with turnover, we can easily see, their earning power is not that high, right? So if you look at Toys R Us, they went to bankrupt already, right? And if we look at, Lego, now Lego is, has been facing the high negotiation power. So like toy executives, right? If you are Lego executives, whether or not we would like to compete against Hot Wheels is like a small toy of the car, like kids play. And this is very traditional competitors or substitute for us, right? Or dog food, right? Because retailers can also sell dog food in their shop. So if we look at this, right? Right? Who are the ideal supplier for Walmart? Meaning that because we want them to choose, right? So when we think about this, if we were Walmart person, what kind of product are we going to choose, right? We have to change the question. So this is the one I explained. We need to think about, stock turnover. This is for retailers, right? This is key performance indicator for retailers, right? How we gonna calculate this stock turnover is revenue divided by average inventory. Okay, so just to exercise, right? If Meiji company, right, and Waseda company earn 100 million Japanese yen as a revenue, right? This is I'm asking the question. Each of them has 20% of gross profit rate. Okay, right? Let's just assume we have two companies, and both of them are 100 million Japanese yen, okay? And each of them has 20% of gross profit, okay? In that case, which companies perform well? How many of you think Meiji one? Or how many of you think it's WBS company? It's better? Or how many of you think it's same? Or how many of you think you don't know? Or how many of you want to sleep? Yes? Yes? Yes, yes. So it's so for you it's same. Right? So I think in that case, right, this is same. Right? So next question, very good. Assuming that WBS company has 12 million Japanese yen as average inventory, and Meiji company has 20 million Japanese yen as average inventory. Okay, because the first one is, they don't have any information on inventory, right? Without information of inventory, meaning that if you understand accounting, if you try to understand the performance of a company on profit and loss statements, right? The information is only this, okay? But in order for us to understand company's performance, we also need to look at the balance sheet, okay? And you can find inventory numbers. You can find it in the balance sheet, right? So if we look at, right now it looks same, right? Oh, both of them has same profitability. So more or less same companies. This is usual people think. But as a business school educated executives like you, right? You must need to say, oh, I cannot answer. Can you give me the inventory information? So if you get inventory information, WBS company has 12 million inventory. Meiji company has 20 million inventory. In that case, which one is more efficient? Which one is performing well? WBS. Why? Thank you. Why? Why do you think so? Yes, it's very good, right? Because they are producing same profitability by using less resource, right? So meaning that WBS company made 8.3 times, right? Turnover ratio, right? Every year. But the Meiji company has only 5 times, right? So meaning that if they are selling the same product with same profitability, of course, WBS company has, right, much more power to create cash, right? Because they have 8.3 times, right? So 1 times we can earn 20%, right? 20%, 20%, 20%. So you can put 8.3 times. But Meiji company has only 5 times, okay? This is very basic. So it's same things for retailers, for any other kind of business, right? Okay. As far as you can understand some points, I would be happy, right? Before you have never thought, but now you know. And how should we improve turnover ratio? Then if we know, right, if we are a Meiji company, right, we want to know how we can improve turnover ratio, right? Because turnover ratio 8.3 for WBS and Meiji was 5 times. We want to improve this 5 times. Right? So very easy. This is very basic, right? If you want to sell more, right, to move fast, right, to sell fast, line up the hot selling items, right? We can put hot selling items and take slow selling item out, right? So that we can have more, enjoy more higher turnover ratio, right? This is very basic, right? And also what we do in practice, right? To make it very simple, of course, we do a little bit more complicated way, but when I go to consulting, what we do is we just categorize product into like this way. Top selling product, right? And potential product to be profitable, or a hot seller product, or a question mark product, okay? And question mark product is they have a low gross profit rate, right? As well as low inventory turnover rate, meaning that both power is very slow, and each time we get slim profit, right? This is question mark. But the good one is, right, they have high gross profit rate plus high inventory turnover. So high multiple high is very high, right? But if good one, right, sometimes either one is high or low, right? So first things we need to, if you want to improve profitability or power of earning, right, we need to think, right? We categorize product into 4, for example, very high profitability one, and the question mark one, and in the middle, okay? And then we try to calculate gross margin for each product and turnover inventory, right, in the another column. And you can just multiply this, and you can line up the product, right, from the high top selling to very question mark. And you can decide how many scores you think you're gonna take in, and how many scores you're gonna cut off. How many scores, right, up you're gonna focus on to improve, right? So that you can give much more clear direction to your subordinate or shop floor staff. So in this case, the problem one is this yellow one, right? We need to rethink about product to switch other items. And now Lego is here, right? For the Walmart people, right? Low profitability, and their product is only 2 times a year, right? So this is what we call cross ratio. Cross ratio is profitability and turnover, right? This is a technical term, but if you go to join the very good consulting firm, or even our consulting team at Sashin, we often use calculate cross ratio, right? And show me gross margin and turnover ratio and line up the product. Right? This is how we communicate. So if you don't understand this kind of term, even you cannot collaborate with those kind of consultants, right? So if you graduate business school, I want you to understand some of this kind of technical term, right? So how much gross profit we can gain on inventory, right, is like calculated like this, okay? Gross margin multiple turnover ratio. I'm repeating the same things, okay? So that one, this is what we call cross ratio, right? So now I'm just trying to explain about cross ratio, right? So this is the reason why I explained like that way. But the top executive seminar or senior executive program at Harvard or Kellogg, when I teach, I don't explain like this, right? I just ask them, you calculate cross ratio and show me the evidence, right? Because everyone understands the term cross ratio, okay? But now MBA, right, I explain one by one. So for example, gross margin of product A is 10%, right? If you understand, this formula. If we want to achieve the cross ratio of 200, right? If I said our key performance indicator, right? Our minimum goal, I set up cross ratio of 200, right? And now I understand gross margin of product A is 10%. Then what is turnover ratio per month? Can you calculate? If you understand the formula of cross ratio, right? You can 20. Yes. How about others? It's a 20 per month, right? Per month. Okay. So that, right? The reason why this is important is if you are top executives, right? If you ask to shop floor person, right? Or someone who are in charge of inventory in the back office. If you say, oh, can you make sure cross ratio 200? Right? They don't understand why, what kind of things you are talking about. You study at the business school, why you tell this kind of difficult term, right? But if you say, okay, this backyard, we have 2 boxes. can you make sure every month we can sell only 3 boxes? This is your job. Then it's same thing, right? We don't need to say to achieve 200 cross ratio, right? Our strategic goal is to manage 200. However, to ask to frontline people, we have to translate it into their term. So you can move this 3 boxes every month. So can you help me to sell this only 3 boxes a month? Then they can motivate, right? And they can clearly understand what they need to do. Okay. So right? The calculation is if we want to set up cross ratio of 200, right? Equal 10% multiple turnover ratio, right? So turnover ratio is 20. So this is every year 20 times, right? But per month, we can just divide by 12. So we can ask our shop person, make sure now we can sell only 1.5 box a month, but we need to make sure 2 box or 1.66 box a month. Then people can put, right, a lot of ideas, right, how to sell that kind of, amount. So it's more easy for us to communicate with shop floor people. Okay. So if you understand this concept, right? If you are the supermarket chain person, right? Which product do you want to sell the most? Oh, by the way, I spent too long, Taro-san. So, okay, so around here, I stop today. And tomorrow, we will continue from here. Okay, so now we Lego case, but in order for us to properly understand Lego case, or even when we use 5 forces model, right, we have to combine this kind of financial data, right? Because the one of aim of the firm is to create profit. Without profit, we cannot do anything good for society. So profit is not only the aim. However, unless we can create reasonable profit, we cannot achieve the purpose, right? Or we cannot even create social value. So